Nicolette, what is the grownupmillennial.com? What do you do?
Yeah, so it's a great little space, I think, that I've curated over the years because I realized like my friends and I were going through the same kinds of challenges, but no one wanted to talk about it. Like we didn't want to burden anyone else with our problems. So we were all being a little bit insular. And even though we spoke every day or every few weeks, we would never talk about the things that were bothering us. And it just so happened that when one of my relationships was about to literally dismantle into pieces,
Mm.
we had this groundbreaking conversation that made us realize, wow, we were going through the same things, battling with the same challenges, and weren't able to verbalize that. So that's kind of why I created this space, helping millennials figure things out to live more meaningful lives. Because while we try to do things on our own, it's not always possible to get through life on your own.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of layers to that. I mean, the first thing comes to my mind, I'm a big stand-up comedy fan. I don't know if you know a gal by the name of Eliza Schlesinger, I think is her
No,
name. Just some Netflix specials out there. And one of them is titled
I have to check it
Elder
out.
Millennial. And it's like she's trying to give advice to the other millennials. Here's what I've learned, learn from my mistakes and my successes too. When I heard,
Yeah.
the grown up millennial.com, this is the first thing that came to my mind.
I have to check it out. My stand-up comedy like little catalog is very thin. It's just like the Kings of Comedy, Cat Williams.
mm,
That's it. Maybe some Dave Chappelle in there. That's it
yeah.
for me. So I'm not very diverse, but I've been trying with Netflix to expand my search a little bit. So I'll check
Yeah.
that out.
And
Thank
I get
you.
on, being legit autistic, I get on little kicks. I'll watch only horror films for a while or only documentaries for a while. And now I'm on nothing but stand up comedy every night before I go to bed, eat some popcorn or whatever, have some crackers and cheese and watch a stand up special. I consider them, really, as much as they're going for jokes and they make a joke out of things that are often
Mhm.
serious, which is great. We need levity, but there's a message in there too. They're also very insightful. I mean, I call them stand-up philosophers, which goes back to Mel Brooks, his History of the World Part 1 movie. If you haven't seen Mel Brooks, hilarious. I'd recommend that too.
Mhm.
It also reminded me of the idea that, so you're in millennials and I'm kind of a mid to early Gen Xer. I'm like 45 now. So I'm also trying to,
On the cusp.
yeah, I'm trying to give back to um, the following generations as they come along. I'm not trying to, hoard any wisdom to myself or whatever I can share. I think it's a very
Mhm.
important thing, and it's this ties in with the theme of, by the time people see this episode, they will have seen a couple of the past recent ones, and there seems to be recently there's little bubbles and ebbs and flows in the zeitgeist of the world. Uh,
Mhm.
a growing trend of people sharing their story for the purpose of helping others. Not self-aggrandize, not narcissistic. Look
Yeah.
at me and how perfect I am. Look at how imperfect I am. Know that you're not alone. And here's
Yeah.
anything I can offer you to make your life easier. If that can just be a trend that just grows exponentially in the world, that's what I want to see. So,
Yeah. I think as we're talking about this, I think this might be because we, like millennials, have been on this kind of we were there before technology existed, and then we got on the wave of what this can do, and it did lead us down some very iffy pathways.
yeah.
Depending on how long you were using social media, depending on how intense you were with your social media use. So I think now we're on the back end of it where it's not all pretty, it's not all roses. Let's tell you the real truth. And I think Gen Zers are coming up in a time too where it's half like let me show you the flowery things and half let me just come on here with no makeup and tell you the real story. So I think we are trending in the right direction, hopefully,
Hmm.
with most of the content that folks are consuming. But you do have some spaces still that still a little bit tough if you're just navigating things on the internet, for sure.
Definitely. And I'm a little bit, I mean, so you hear people say social media has not been good for us. There are people who are kind of social media doomers in that way of like, this technology was a disaster. It's going to destroy us. I, they're half right, in my opinion. This is where I'm going with it
Yes.
is you're not wrong. There is tremendous potential for evil, so to speak, or evil outcomes or evil intent. But
Hmm.
there's, I class it as just broadly communication. And communication can be right or wrong. It can be good or bad. It can be helpful or hurtful. Um, it's taken us a while. And I think we are, as you said, getting closer to the idea of learning how to use it wisely. It's kind of like
Hmm.
a, most force in the world, in the universe, is neutral. The laws of physics, it doesn't have morality. You can push a rock to get it out of the way so you can farm. You can push a rock off a cliff and drop it on someone. Rock's a rock, gravity's gravity. You got to use the tools properly, and only humans can decide